Hey, how you doing? My name is Ethan Janney, and I'm a creative coach. I coach individuals, I coach executives, and I'm a business transformation expert. I use the magic and the power of creativity to make transformations happen. And today, I have a special topic that is quite complicated, but I think I'm going to give you an really unique perspective on it that can really help you reignite your passion for something that you might have felt you failed at. This one is of particular importance to people who are involved in entrepreneurship and they're thinking of quitting, but they also are thinking of continuing. And what I want to do is encourage you, if you have a dream, if you have something powerful that you know you can do, just to keep at it. And so hopefully this will help you. So what I'm calling this is the Reignite the Fire method. Okay, so what I want you to do is think of something that you feel you failed at, but you have this nagging feeling that you should continue pursuing. However, you have this doubt because you failed at before that you, as an individual, are not capable of achieving in that realm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a simple example of someone who did freelance work, and then they decided that they kind of failed at that. So they kind of gave up at that and they got a real job, but now they're kind of getting tired of their real job and they're thinking about going back to freelance, but really not sure whether that's the best route because, of course, are they good enough to do that? Do they have what it takes? Or are they just a failure, right? So let's go through the process, the fire process. Though the first step of the fire process is that you failed. Okay, so you could work through this right now with something you think that you failed at, but you really want to be excited about continuing with. So in this case, failed at being a freelancer. I got out of bed, went straight to the desk. I didn't have any clients. I wasn't making any money. It was depressing. I never got to see anybody, so on and so forth. What a failure. Okay, now what we want to do, once the fires went out, we want to go inspect the fire. So I stands for inspect. Right? So you need to look at what happened, and I want you to think about how whatever you think was a failure or kind of the worst thing that ever happened to you could actually be the best thing that ever happened to you. Because if you notice, it's a pattern. In the lives of people who truly perform in any realm, they have these pivotal moments where something that they thought was the worst thing that could have happened to them actually turned into the best thing that happened to them. So let's take the example of the freelancing, right? It could be just as simple as realizing that at that point in your life, it wasn't working for you and getting a job. Because getting that job helped you do a number of things. It helped you realize you had value, right? You went from going $20,000 a year to $70,000 a year. Just because you couldn't access that value at that point didn't mean that you didn't have that value, right? So you get to you get to notice what your value is. Maybe you get to have health insurance. Maybe you get to do something that you weren't able to do when you were freelancing. So it was a good thing that happened to you, and it was a learning experience where you realize that if you're going to freelance, maybe you should get a workspace instead of sitting in your bed and going straight to your desk. Whatever it is, it's been a learning experience, and it could have been the best thing that ever happened to you. You may become the most successful entrepreneur in the history of entrepreneurship now that you've learned that lesson. There's plenty of ways to reframe things. So next step after inspecting is what I just said, reframe, okay? Except now we're going to take reframing. Instead of reframing what happened, we're going to reframe what you were about to do. So let's take the freelancer example again. You were a freelancer and now you're thinking of going into freelancing again. Oh my God, it's so scary. But are you afraid of becoming an entrepreneur? Are you afraid of starting a business? Are you afraid of designing your life? Right? There's all sorts of ways that you can reimagine and reinvent what you thought you were doing before into something that's actually totally new. Okay, so for example, one example that I had with someone that I was coaching is he realized, okay, well, maybe he doesn't want to be a full-time freelancer. Maybe he wants to do half freelance and half a gig that he keeps that brings in some regular income. It's not for him about being a freelancer anymore, the thing that he failed at. Now it's about designing a lifestyle that he wants. So again, reframe what you're doing and take whatever you did before, give it a different name, give your new thing a different name, and you'll probably be able to reignite some more energy into doing what you actually want to do. And you'll probably come up with a lot of great new ideas by having that new idea of what you're doing. And that leads us to the last step in the FIRE method, embody. Now I want you to embody that new way of being around that thing that you used to be doing. So now that you're an entrepreneur, what does an entrepreneur do? Is maybe an entrepreneur hires people, right? As opposed to working completely independently. Maybe an entrepreneur outsources things. Maybe a business owner behaves differently. Maybe just even the way they act, the way they talk to people, the way they engage. Maybe where a freelancer, when they leave their job, they quit and they burn a bridge, whereas a business person or an entrepreneur builds a relationship with their former boss and they become colleagues instead of adversaries, as oftentimes people do in a situation with their boss. So what I want you to do, here's a really good way to embody something new. Pick someone who inspires you doing the thing that you want to do and just try to be more like them. Embody who they are and give yourself something new to embody. Okay, it's actually going to be quite complicated, and it's a lot more fun to actually push someone through the process with their specific issues, but I think that could be really helpful to a lot of you who are thinking about giving up at something that you failed at previously. So again, my name is Ethan Janney. I'm a creative coach. I coach individuals, executives, and I transform businesses. I make transformation happen through the power and magic of creativity. Thank you so much for listening today, and I really, really hope for you that you can reignite that dream of yours, because that's what we're here to do, live out the dreams that we have and make them happen.